molecular docking, which can be used in structure-based drug design. So during this topic, we will also discuss a bit about structure-based drug design or drug design in principle, which is an interesting topic in biotechnology and drug research and drug development, new drug research and new drug development. Okay, so what are drugs? We will discuss about new drugs, how new drugs are developed, and things. So as we know that these are basic things. So for development of new drugs, there are several approaches, and one of the modern approach is to use the protein structure in order to develop new drug. Okay, and there are basically one of the modern method for drug designing is called as structure-based drug designing or structure-based drug design, and before it was also called as computer-aided drug design, because computer is used in this type of drug research, but nowadays it is called as structure-based drug design because protein structure and molecular structures are used to design the drug. There are two major types in structure-based drug design. One type is called as receptor-based drug design. Another type is called as ligand-based drug design. In structure-based drug design, receptor-based drug design, basically we focus in the macromolecule or the receptor or the enzymes which interact, which bind with the ligand molecule. In ligand-based drug design, the focus is mainly on the ligand structure. During this lecture, I will focus on structure-based drug design type receptor-based drug designing. Okay, so receptor-based drug design will be discussed over here because it is being used in Okay, then this diagram is showing us the receptor-based drug design cycle. Also can be called as protein structure-based drug design cycle. So this is the first step in the receptor-based drug design, the first step, or protein structure-based drug design. The second step, third step, fourth step, and fifth step. Okay. In first step, what we do, basically we need a three-dimensional structure of a protein initially for structure-based or receptor-based drug design. And this three-dimensional structure is basically obtained by the NMR spectroscopy, X-ray crystallography, or cryo-electron microscopy. Using the 3D structure of the protein, we carry out molecular modeling using computers. This is called in silico modeling studies in the protein. And there are several techniques in molecular modeling. One of the techniques is called as docking. Okay? Docking of the ligand molecule or the potential drug molecule, candidate drug molecule on the protein structure. Docking of the drug molecule, potential drug molecule on the protein active site. This technique is called as docking or molecular docking or ligand docking. Okay? And then on the basis of the docking, they basically synthesize the compounds. And this step, the third step, is normally carried out in the chemistry labs by chemists. And then when the potential chemical compound is synthesized in the lab, made in the lab, then the functional studies is carried out. Okay? The functional studies are carried out in molecular biology labs, biochemistry labs, in which we take the compounds and test those compounds using the proteins and the cell culture cells in order to find out the functional studies or functional characteristics of the compound. So this is biochemistry over here. This is chemistry over here in number 3. And if we have positive encouraging results, then we can go further development of that molecule as a drug. So further drug research is proceed. Okay. So what happens? So it means that the protein structure over here and molecular docking. We will discuss these two aspects over here because it is related to bioinformatics and computational studies. Okay. So, I want to go over here to discuss about molecular docking. What is molecular docking or ligand docking? Is the docking of small molecules into the active center of the protein molecule. Okay. For example, this is a protein molecule, the yellow color protein molecule structure. And this is the active center of this protein molecule. And the red color is the compound which is docked into the active center of this protein molecule by using molecular docking techniques. We wanted to see whether this red color compound is able to bind preferably with the molecule at the active center of this molecule or not. So, molecular docking, what is the purpose of molecular docking? To predict the protein ligand interaction. Again, the prediction is over here. Again, that is the prediction. We want to predict how a protein will interact with the ligand molecule. Ligand means the small molecule. It can be sugar molecule. It can be a small drug molecule. It can be, say, for example, paracetamol molecule. It can be an antibiotic molecule. It can be like this type of anti-cancer compound. How a ligand molecule or drug-like molecule will interact with a protein molecule and inhibit or affect the function of that particular protein molecule. So for a given protein structure, a ligand, if you give a protein structure or a ligand structure to the computer program, molecular docking predicts the geometry of the complex as well as the free energy of binding. In reality, when in chemistry or in physical chemistry, that is concepts, when two compounds bind with each other, there is a change of energy. And this change of energy is called as free energy of binding. When two compounds bind with each other, whether there is a release of energy gain or loss of energy, you can say. This is basically change of energy, delta G. This delta G it can be called as free energy of binding. So the computer program in silico, in structural bioinformatics, will predict the geometry, what is the geometrical aspect of this binding, and what is the free energy of this binding, whether this free binding is energetically favorable or energetically not favorable. Okay, so this technique is implicated in structure-based drug design, as I discussed before. And also we call this type of technique is called virtual screening, and there are several software computer programs used for molecular docking, and one of them is called as DOCK. Historically, this is the old one, and the FlexX and Gold computer program and AutoDock computer program. All these four programs are used for molecular docking. Okay. Okay. Sorry. What docking tells us? Basically, docking provides us information about the molecular recognition phenomena. How two molecules recognize each other. And this molecular recognition is basically based on hydrogen bonding between two molecules, hydrophobic interactions, electrostatic interaction, van der Waals interactions, and other type of interactions between two molecules. Over here, there is a protein molecule and a small molecule. And on the basis of that, if there is a favorable interaction, then these two molecules will recognize with each other, bind with each other, and if there is unfavorable hydrogen bonding or hydrophobic interaction or electrostatic interaction, then those two molecules will not be interacting with each other. So this phenomena in chemistry is called as molecular recognition phenomenon, in which two or more molecules recognize each other. Again, what are the requirements of molecular docking? What are the requirements of molecular docking? Practically speaking, you need a structure of macromolecule, either receptor or enzyme, etc. Protein structure, macromolecules because proteins are macromolecules. And also you need 3-dimensional 3D structure of the small molecule for docking. And then the third thing, you need description of the binding site in the macromolecule. What is the binding site where the small molecule needs to bind in the macromolecule. And obviously you need the docking program, docking software for docking purpose. Okay. Having said that, this is again example for how the docking was used to identify novel compounds for potential use in malaria. Okay, so this was basically identification of plasmapsin inhibitors, which was predicted by virtual screening or molecular docking, and after that confirmed by enzyme inhibition in the biochemistry lab for functional analysis. So this is basically a story of potent anti-malaria compound identification using molecular docking and other structural based drug design techniques. Okay. So what happened? So malaria is an important disease, okay, and it is present in Asia, in Africa, and mostly in South America, and it is not present in North America and in Europe. It is mentioned in this slide. Okay. So the life cycle of malarial parasite, malaria is caused by Plasmodium falciparum or Plasmodium that is parasite, and this parasite basically enters into the human blood via vector, and this vector is mosquito, which basically transfers this parasite into the human blood, into the human body after biting the human individual. So after entering into the body, this parasite basically spends its life into three places. In the body there is a two. One is the life in the liver cell, multiplication in the liver cell, and another life in the blood cell, red blood cell, erythrocytic cycle, in which this parasite basically enter in the red blood cell and multiplies over there. And during multiplication, this red blood cell, malarial parasite uses the proteins available in the red blood cell, okay, for the multiplication in the cell. So the idea was, and what it does basically in the cell, in red blood cell, this Plasmodium. So this is the hemoglobin metabolism pathway in the Plasmodium falciparum. What it does basically, it degrades hemoglobin by the enzymes. So in the red blood cell, Plasmodium parasite secretes several enzymes which convert degrades hemoglobin into small peptides, and then further enzymes from the Plasmodium degrades further into smaller peptides, and then aminopeptidases convert into free amino acid, and this free amino acid can be used by the parasite for making its own protein. This is how the parasite multiplies in the red blood cells, and at the end red blood cells ruptures and thousands of Plasmodium cells come out from the red blood cell and then infect other red blood cells. So this is an important event in malarial parasite infection. So, what was the idea? That there are several enzymes, but one of these enzymes are called as plasmepsin. Plasmepsin are involved in hemoglobin degradation occurring during erythrocyte stage. Plasmepsin was considered as target for new anti-malarial therapy. So we need selective and potent inhibitors of plasmepsin. So if we inhibit the plasmepsin, the hemoglobin will not degrade, okay, and the plasmepsin parasite will not multiply. So this was the idea, to inhibit the activity of plasmepsin by small compounds. So this is the plasmepsin 2 structure from PDB. This is another view of the same structure with surface representation, and this is you see that this is the normal compound, which is bound at the active site of the plasmapsin 2 enzyme. Sorry. These are another view of the same interaction between protein and the compound which is bound at the active center or active site of the enzyme. So what we did, we basically carried out a virtual screening of compounds for binding of compounds to the active site of the plasmapsin 2. Okay. So we constructed a virtual library of more than 600 compounds and screened against the plasmapsin 2 using ligand docking program. So one by one, the enzyme was plasmapsin 2, the protein was plasmapsin 2, and the compound was binding at the active center using ligand docking. And after that, the crystal structure of plasmapsin 2 was obtained from PDB, and the 3D model of the compounds were constructed, and then a ligand docking was carried out by FlexX package. Okay, so these are the some of the compounds and their names and their structures, only for example. And we found out that using the molecular docking, we found out that this type of compounds might be inhibiting the plasmapsin 2 in reality, because we carried out molecular docking in the computer. So our predictions in the molecular docking told us that these type of compounds might be inhibiting in real life. Okay. So this idea we got this idea from the ligand docking. Okay. Then we went to in order to prove our idea, in order to prove the prediction in real life situation, we went to the lab, and then we carried out enzyme inhibition assays using plasmapsin 2 in the test tube and the compounds from the labs. And then the result shows that enzyme assays confirm the docking predictions, and inhibition kinetics revealed the IC50 values in micromolar to nanomolar range. That is, our compounds which were predicted by the ligand docking were inhibiting the enzymes in very low quantity. It's showing that they are very potent molecules against this enzyme. This is the data showing the inhibition of compounds and the docking docking score of the compounds. Okay. For example, you see that these are the compound structure. Sorry, the compound structure. The compound structure and the docking score and enzyme inhibition score were matching with each other. And this is how these slides are showing how our molecules, for example, these are the molecules, are interacting with the amino acid residues of the plasmapsin 2 active site. This slide is showing about the interaction between the predicted interaction between the compounds, the potential drug compounds with the that is the enzyme structure. The dotted line showing the hydrogen bonding and other type of interactions like hydrophobic interactions and so on. So you see that the compound, on the basis of the docking molecule, the docking interaction, we can say that these compounds with these type of groups are more potent compounds having very good docking score as well as enzyme inhibition kinetics score. Okay, this is a very interesting slide. Starting from the bottom, you see that we constructed a compound structure database in the computer, in silico structure database. That database contained more than 650 compounds. We carried out ligand docking, virtual screening of these compounds against the plasmapsin-2 active site. We found, and then using this data, we tested 110 compounds in the lab, and among those, more than 50 compounds were active. More than 50 compounds were active against the enzyme, against the plasmapsin-2. So out of 650, using the docking, we basically came up with 50 compounds, active inhibitors of plasmapsin-2, and then we tested 25 of these 50 active compounds against against the plasmodial cells, and we found out that 4 compounds are having good inhibitory activity against plasmodium. So starting from more than 600 compounds, we came up to 4 compounds. Those are showing real inhibitory properties against the malarial parasite. Okay, so